This is the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the ultimate tour of this truck. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I have borrowed this truck from my friends at Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this truck, maybe come in and buy it from the dealership, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is Summit White. It has an obsidian rush interior. And in my personal opinion, I'm normally not a fan of white contrast stitching or white piping, but I have to say, that seems to fit in very well here. I like the way that stands out. So in this case, I like it. Now there is a little bit of red stitching with the baseball style stitching that we have right here. So it's not all white. And you'll also notice the assist steps here installed by Morgan Buick GMC. It has the graphite type spray-on style material on here. At least that's what I think of when I run my hand across there. The good thing about that is that it has that nice rough texture. That means that getting in and out of the truck under all conditions will be no problem because there's always that surface that allows you to gain traction. And as far as the truck goes here on the front end, well, everything you would expect to find. The aggressive look of the AT4X, a very strong stance. You have a 2-inch lift here. You're going to have the skid plates to protect the underside of the truck in those very important areas. When it comes to off-roading in the dark, you've got plenty of lighting. Not only here on the front end, you're going to have the LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. I don't have the LED fog lights on down there, but they are there. You'll also have on this bumper, you're gonna have your tow hooks right here so you can pull everybody else out in their Fords, their Toyotas, their Rams, all that good stuff. A very nice and aggressive look to the front grille here. What other grille do we have besides the front, right? Well, it is the grille, it is here on the front. The AT4X logo right there, yes, I like to give you things to laugh about, so you can laugh at me on that. You will also have the forward-facing camera. And for those of you who might not know, if you're wondering what this little notch is that's sticking out right here, that is the front camera washer. So I'll show you how to work that later in the video. It works even when you don't know it's working. And obviously a 4-wheel drive truck. And the off-road suspension works with the Multimatic dampers. You will have hill descent control, front and rear E-locking differentials. And let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size. Obviously, you want a good ability to grab a hold of any pavement or wherever you're driving, on road or off. 275 will be your width, a 70 series sidewall, and that's going to be wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. The power adjustable side view mirrors have the LED lights built in. That's going to be very helpful in a multitude of ways. You'll also have your blind spot monitoring right here. And let me do one thing here. Let's turn this off for just a second so that's not going off. These are also power folding side view mirrors, and all I did was push the button right here to do that. So if you're curious about how I did that, now you know. And you do have passive entry. That's the button here on the front door handles right there. So what that means is when you have the remote on your person, you can walk up and you don't have to do anything other than push that button and you can unlock or lock all 4 doors. Here is the remote. No changes for 2024, but in case anybody wants to know or hasn't seen it before, here's what we have. Lock, unlock, you can use the power tailgate feature back there. Now it's only power down, you'll manually have to put it back up. You have remote start there as well. And as we work our way here towards the rear, we're gonna have the cab light back there, things that will be very helpful when off-roading, the LED tail lights, and there's another light right back here in this particular area on the Multi-Pro tailgate. The AT4X down there, as far as your logo goes, it sets things out just a little bit, setting things apart so people know this isn't just another GMC 1500 driving down the road. And then you will also have your steps right here. Now, being that this truck has the 2-inch lift, these steps are helpful that are built into the bumper on the corner of each side back here. But you also have another alternative with that Multi-Pro tailgate. We're going to get to that in just a second. Before we do, let's talk about what motivates this model to get down the road. In this particular case, we're not going to find the 3-liter diesel, the Duramax diesel. This is going to be the 6.2-liter V8. Which engine do you think is more appropriate for the AT4X? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. The numbers on this engine combination: 420 horsepower, 460 pounds-feet of torque. It is naturally aspirated. For those of you who are anti-turbocharger, that's a good thing. Made to do a 10-speed automatic transmission, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I'll tell you what's there. MPGs, 14 cities, 16 highway, 15 combined, and 6.7 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And speaking of gas, you do have capless fuel fill here, and you'll be filling a 24-gallon gas tank. And let's talk about practical use. 2,240 pounds on the payload, 8,900 up to 13,200 pounds, depending on how the trucks are equipped, is the towing capacity. So let's talk about this tailgate right here. I'm going to show you an important safety feature, by the way, that you might not know is here. So obviously it's going to work as a conventional tailgate. For those of you who don't know about this multi-pro tailgate, this is going to be helpful to you. Now, what we have right here is one of the multitaskers. You can use that as a table, you can use it as a bed extender, you can eat lunch off of it, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of different options there. And let's do this. Now, one thing that you also have here is going to be a second bed extender. Now, you see what's there where that is concerned. You can also go ahead and open this area like this. And one thing that helps with is it allows you to gain access to the rear section of the bed right here a lot easier, because you can obviously reach further into the interior because, well, there's not as much tailgate in the way. But this is also the step that you can use to get in and out. A little bit more useful here, I think, than what you would have with a conventional 1500 that's sitting at stock ride height without that 2-inch lift. You do have the handle right there to help make things a little bit easier as far as getting in and out. There are multiple tie downs, in fact, a total of 12, 3 in the front, 3 in the rear on both sides. And you will also find a 120 volt power outlet. There are also LED lights right here that shine into the bed, makes it easier to gain access or deal with whatever you have to deal with back here as far as cargo goes after dark. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people might want to know about is what happens if you have a trailer hitch on your truck, you have a ball back here, and you open the tailgate in this configuration. Is there a solution for that? Yes, there is. And yes, I know that it's just a matter of just be aware of it, but let's face reality. All of us get distracted, we get in a rush, we just forget. And so here is the fail-safe. You're going to hold this button, the top button right here, down. It's about a 10-second wait period. You just hold it down, and when the tail lights flash, that means, as we see right here, so there we go, the tail lights flash. We're going to let go of that button now. Look at this. Now, I can't actually open this section of the tailgate. You can still open it as a conventional tailgate. Very easy to deal with. Obviously, to turn that feature off, you're going to repeat the process of just holding this button down one more time. And obviously, when the lights flash, that means you have turned this back off and you can now fully take advantage of the multi-pro tailgate. And as far as the interior goes, beyond what I've shown you, let's talk about some functionality here. The armrests here, very large, seem to be comfortable. I'm not going to have my arm up there for very long, but they seem to be nice and comfortable, at least having my arm up there for just a few seconds. The door bins are very large, a lot of space here where that is concerned. And there is space underneath the seats right here. Obviously, both sides do fold up. I'm just going to fold one up for the sake of today's video. But you can see that you have the tools to change a tire. There is a spare tire located underneath the rear of the truck in the conventional space. There's obviously more space right here where you can store things. I really like what GMC has right here because it's a nice way of taking advantage of potential storage space that many other vehicles. In fact, I don't know of any other truck on the market that has this. They don't take advantage of that. And something else that I like here as well, nothing unusual, it's not specific to this trim level, but it's here. So I'm going to tell you about it, and it's the inserts right here. Now, I don't know if I can even get that up. There we go. Obviously, you can unsnap all four corners here and take this carpeted insert out. If you're out on the trail, snow, mud, sand, whatever, and you don't want anything staining the carpet, well, that's a very easy solution. And one thing I like here as well, plenty of space, even for rear seat passengers. The length of the cab with these trucks makes a big difference in a multitude of ways. There's also a lot of storage beyond what I've shown you already. Obviously, you have the storage pockets right here. There are cup holders built into the rear of the center console. Two different controls here for the outboard seats that are heated. Whoever gets stuck here in this middle seat is just going to have a cold butt, depending on how cold it is. And a couple of USB options there as well, in addition to the air conditioning vents on the rear of the center console. And there's also a fold-down armrest right here with the cup holders built in. I tell you what, there's no shortage of cup holders in any of these GMC Sierras. Also, the power sliding rear window with the defogger. That's those lines you see right there for those who might wonder. I can't imagine that people don't know about that, but you never know. Now, one thing that I always like to get your opinions on is what we have right here. It is a conventional size sunroof. It does slide and tilt open. Would you like to see GMC eventually add not conventional, but a panoramic sunroof to this truck? That would be a nice feature, I think. I know a lot of you like that. Some of you might even say, you know what, I don't need a sunroof at all. Which person are you? So we have features here with this truck, such as the upgrades to the shocks, the suspension, even the leaf springs, as you can see right there, the 2-inch lift. There's a lot here. So you might be saying, all right, Tom, I like what I see, but if I came into Morgan Buick GMC and bought this truck, what would it cost me? $84,125. And because I've had a few people ask me in the past, does that include out the door pricing, tax, title, and license, for example? No, it doesn't. That's just the price on the truck, just so you know. Let's see what else you get for that price. Obviously, a very similar look here with the door panels here on the front doors. Again, comfortable. Now, you will find the AT4X logo right here, and so much space with these door bins. And we'll also have the heated, power adjustable, ventilated seats, very comfortable here, and the same thing in the front as we had in the rear with those carpet inserts. Now, you will find the AT4X logo here on the door. Still a little bit of space right there on the side of the center console. I'll put my hand in there just to kind of give you an idea of what there is. And you have the upper and the lower glove boxes here. A good bit of space. There is a lot of storage space throughout the interior of this truck, no matter where you look. Take a quick look across the dash area here. As you can see, everything looking nice. Changes that came a few years ago, because I know for a long time a lot of you were saying that the interior looked antiquated. What do you think now? And a lot of one-touch buttons to make things easier. If you're looking for the control to turn off the auto stop start system, there it is right there. You can also lower the tailgate down. Now, earlier I mentioned the fact that that's only a power down tailgate because it is a multi-pro tailgate. So that's why it's only power down. And you can see what else is here. Now, one thing you might wonder about if you haven't looked at one of these trucks in a few years, since maybe 2020 or 2021, as far as those models go, you might say, wait a minute, at that price point, there's no wireless charging pad? Yeah, there is. It's just right here. That's been there for a couple of years now. So just making use of additional space here. Kind of like what I talked about with those rear seat storage areas in the seat backs. Well, instead of having the wireless charging pad here, it's just more storage, so that helps. And the shifter right here, I know there's mixed reactions and feelings about that. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you not? Does it matter? Maybe you're neutral on it? It just depends on what your thoughts are. I'm curious to know. Some people want a column shifter. You do have a couple of USB options here. You obviously have your cup holders here and a nice large lid for the center console. Plenty of space, plenty of real estate for your arm up there. And more USB connectivity and a power outlet right there. You also have the removable tray right here that can come out if so desired. Also plenty of space down there within the center console. There's also a light to help out at night, keep things nice and lit. And you can see what's going on up here with the upper console. As far as the map lights go, the controls for the sunroof, and other controls as well, because I know a lot of you like to know what's up there, so now you know. And taking a look in through the driver's side door, pretty much a carbon copy for the most part of what we saw on the passenger side, with a few exceptions. All the controls right here, and you do have 2 settings for seat memory, as you can see right there. If you're looking for the power parking brake, it's right here. Here is the control for driving modes, and then obviously everything here for controlling the lights on the exterior of the truck. A head-up display, everything's controlled right here, and if you need to turn on your auto high beams or turn them off for some reason, there's the button to do that. You do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. As you can see right there, it is power adjustable. And let's take a quick look at the graphics that come up here on the screens as far as what you're going to see. Kind of hard to see from this angle, but the AT4X logo right there, animated graphics. And I know a lot of people say, it's not a big deal. Maybe not, but it's here, so I thought I better go ahead and show you, just because it's one of the features that this truck offers. And you have the 12.3-inch instrument cluster here, or driver's display, that is fully customizable, by the way. All I'm going to do is arrow over with the left or the right arrow. You can use whichever one you want to, and use the scroll wheel right there to change the layout. Now, there are some presets here depending on what you might want to do. We start with progressive. There's digital, just in case you're curious to see what all of these look like. And there is clean. Now, you can also go back and change everything individually. So depending on how you have everything set up, in fact, you'd have to be in one of these others besides clean to be able to do this. But you can see right here, let's go back. There we go. You can change the left side, the right side, the lower gauges, basically everything. You can even get rid of that image of the truck right there if you wanted to. I've had people who have asked about that in the past, so if that's something you would like to do, well, you can do that. And steering wheel mounted controls here, as you can see, everything here pretty easy to figure out. You do have the heated steering wheel, something at the moment we don't need in Northwest Louisiana. It's actually warmed back up into the 60s, a welcome change after being extremely cold and frozen last week. And we also have the rear view camera mirror. So depending on what's going on with your truck, if you have a lot of people or 3 people sitting in your back seat, a full load of passengers, we'll say, and you can't see as well through the rear window, well, guess what? There's your solution. That's easy to deal with. Once you get used to that, I think you'll like it. I will tell you that it takes a little bit of getting used to. So depending on the situation, well, you can make changes there as needed. Now, one thing you'll see right here, there is a control on the seat that brings up the massage function. There are several different settings right there. In fact, let me get out and I'll show you what that is. I should have shown you that when we were looking at the passenger side seat, but that's what this is. And you can change that. There's a couple of different settings here, and you can see that you can make a lot of different changes. This truck is highly customizable in a multitude of ways. You also have all of your different camera views, and especially when you're off-road or in a tight confined situation, whatever it is, this is very helpful because you can see everything. Now, before I move on, here is our front view camera. Remember I told you earlier about that front camera washer? Well, here's how that works. It is done via this button right here. And every single time you run the windshield washer fluid, it also sprays a stream of windshield washer fluid across the front camera. The camera does not have to be on the screen for that to happen. So that's why I was saying earlier that it happens no matter what. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. But we'll finish looking at our different camera views because there are several. And depending on what you need to see, you can literally see everywhere in and around your truck. If somebody who's hanging out with you is sleeping in the bed of the truck and you want to make sure it's who you think it is, well, you can look right there. In fact, here's an advantage. I can see that I left the lights on back there, so I can turn those off if I want to. So there's a lot going on right here with this truck that you can take advantage of, and obviously a lot more because of the fact that you have so much going on within this infotainment screen. Wireless compatibility for your cell phone. You can wirelessly pair your cell phone. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also have Google Assistant that I will not demonstrate by saying, hey, well, you know who right there, because I know that can set off devices in your house. I guess I could prank people if I wanted to, but then you might be mad at me. So we won't do that today. Everything for trailering is here to make things as convenient and easy as possible. We won't go through too much of that. And then settings right here for the truck. You can see what all is here. There's a lot going on here as far as the capabilities, options, features go. If you need to turn on or off different features, you can do that right there. And how about collision detection systems? What do you have as far as those safety features go? Well, you can change your alert type. You have automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier in case you fall asleep, I guess. Lane change alert, park assist. You can see what all's here. I'm not going to cover everything, but you can see what all is there. And one thing before I forget, because I didn't show you earlier here, let's show you your driving modes. So we're going to have terrain. Go back this way and go to sport, off-road, and that's all of your driving modes. And all I'm doing is using the dial right here to make changes where that is concerned. You do have obviously your control right here that starts and stops the engine, and then we can sync these two sides together with your dual zone climate control if you want to. And earlier I mentioned that we have the heated seats, also have the ventilated seats. So quite a bit going on here with this truck, I tell you what, and I'm not even covering every single little detail, just really the important high points. All right, guys, I wanted to give you a quick look here in the interior, at least in as dark of an environment as we could possibly get, just to let you see how everything looks. So here's what we have all the lights and everything turned on. It's not perfect, a little bit more light in here than normal, but you know what, that's all right. Just wanted to let you see what things look like here with this particular truck as far as what you might experience after dark. That's one thing that's kind of hard to achieve in some of these videos because most of us are filming during the day. So there are your LED tail lights. Some of these lights on here are so bright. I don't want to turn them on because it honestly might blind everybody. I don't know, but you can see what we have here with the headlights, with the daytime running lights, and even the hazard lights or the blinkers, whichever you wish to use. Hopefully you do use your blinkers. All right, we're gonna get out on the road for a quick test drive. And one question that I'm pretty sure people are going to have about this truck, being that it has all of the additions with the shocks and the suspension and everything we talked about earlier in the video, does that make the ride quality harsh compared to what it would normally be? I can't really tell a difference personally, so I don't think it makes a difference as far as that goes. Depending on the road surface you're on, you might be able to tell a difference, but in just the average driving situation, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe just a tiny bit of a difference based on what I'm experiencing right now, but it's not too bad. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, a very enjoyable truck to drive. And the good thing about it is that while you have that upgraded off-roading capability, you still have the practical usability of a pickup truck. And it has a lot of those very, very nice features that you would have with a higher end vehicle with these 1500s, such as the massage seats. You know, if you find yourself experiencing the ride quality and saying, well, it's not as smooth as I was hoping it would be, well, guess what? You have those massage seats to help you to feel a little bit better. And I don't want to get into it real hard, but hopefully you got a nice earful of the exhaust note that is very, good on this truck. It's always nice to have that nice growl of the V8 under the hood to make that sound. Plenty of power, obviously, for your towing and your payload, and obviously if you want to go with that as more of a serious situation for yourself, something where you're going to be doing a lot of heavy towing, at least for a truck like this, well, obviously the 3-liter diesel would be good for you. Very easy to deal with, very enjoyable to drive. You have all the great technology here. And for those who are saying, you know, Tom, I'm really wanting to buy a truck just like what you're showing in today's video, but my main concern is all of that technology and learning it. I'll never use all of it. And I've heard a lot of people say that in the past, and most of the time, when it's all said and done, once they've had their vehicle for a while, whether it's a truck like this or something else, they learn the technology and say, you know what? I'm really glad it's here. It's done more for me than I could have ever imagined. And don't forget, you're right here in the ideal place to learn on YouTube, because well, there's all sorts of tutorial videos here for you to watch, and you can watch those over and over again. So it really makes life very simple to learn what's going on here. I have a lot of tutorials on these trucks on my YouTube channel, just about anything you need to know. And if there is something specific you're saying, well, you know what, Tom, I've had trouble with whatever it may be, tell me down in the comments section, and I will make a specific video just for you on that particular subject to help you to be able to learn. So tell me what you think about the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X. Besides being a mouthful to say, there's definitely a lot here. Depending on what your situation is or just what you want, this may be the right truck for you. I'm curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this truck for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.